Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today I'm going to share 3 activities to help you teach emotions to preschoolers and toddlers. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, activity number 1. You're going to see there's a little bit of a scaffolding approach that I'm going to take with these activities. So the first activity that you're going to use to help you teach these emotional skills is going to be books. Books are my favorite pre-teaching activity. And the books I'm going to show you today are a new series that I have found called the Little Unicorn series. There are at least 4 in these. I have read the angry, I've read the scared, the sad, and the shy. You can see we've borrowed these from our local library. My son loves them. So activity number 1 is going to be pre-teaching whatever emotion it is that you're wanting to target with a book. And I kind of wonder, these books, by the way, are by Orly Chien Chow Chin. I probably have butchered her name, but there it is right there. And so what she does, and the reason why I love these, is she starts them the same way every time, explaining that there's this little unicorn and he has this magical mane, and the mane changes depending on how he feels. And I'm kind of hoping that she's going to make one for all of these emotions. Like I said, so far I've read 4. And then she goes into talking about, the child or the student you're reading with, talking about how they feel. And then she gives a little story that exemplifies why little unicorn is feeling the way that he's feeling. So Little Unicorn books for at least shy, sad, angry, and scared are great. Is activity number 1, and that's your kind of pre-teach activity to pre-teach whatever emotion it is that you're focusing on today. I would recommend definitely just focusing on one emotion as you teach it and introduce it, and then as your student gets more proficient at identifying them and understanding them, then mix different emotions in at one time. So those unicorn books are a great resource for reading and pre-teaching and talking about different emotions. Okay, the second activity that I'm going to give you to teach preschoolers and or toddlers about emotions is going to be a emotion scavenger hunt. And I will link up here, I never know where they come up, but I will link a video to my scavenger hunt movement activity, and your speech target that you're gonna be hunting for is going to be different situations that might make the student feel the way of whatever targeted emotion that you're practicing today. So say, for example, your targeted emotion of the day is sad, then you are going to maybe think of 5 different activities or 5 different situations that might make a student feel sad. Leaving mommy, not being able to find a special toy, something like that. You can just write it on a scrap of paper because the student doesn't actually need to be able to read, and just hide them around the room. Your student is going to get on the scooter board, and they're going to do a scavenger hunt. They're going to find it, and you're just going to talk about how those situations would make you feel sad. Alternatively, you could do some that make you feel sad and then some other different emotions, and your student has to sort into a pile of, okay, this activity or this situation would make me feel sad. This one would make me not sad. This one would make me happy. And they have to sort to identify happy versus sad. So that is activity number 2 to help you teach emotions to preschoolers and toddlers. Before we move to activity number 3, you will notice that activity number 2 was slightly more receptive in nature. You came up with the examples, and you guys just talked about it together. So we've done the pre-teach with the book, sort of a receptive activity. Finally, activity number 3 to help you teach emotions and emotional literacy to preschoolers and toddlers is having them now identify situations that would make them feel that particular emotion. So remember, I've recommended just when you start teaching emotional literacy to these kiddos to teach one emotion at a time. So going back to the example of sad, now your student is going to verbalize and talk to you, if they're able to, about situations that would make them feel sad. So then what we would do is we would talk about a few of them, and then we would draw a picture together. I've kind of discovered that these little guys really like watching me draw pictures, so I kind of let them dictate the picture to me, and I draw it, and we kind of talk about it together. Now, if you want to take this activity one step further and make it just a little bit trickier, you could have your student now talk about situations that might make somebody else feel sad, or whatever emotion that you're targeting. So now it's becoming not just an emotional activity, but a perspective taking activity as well. So, excuse me. Those are 3 activities to help you teach emotion to preschoolers and toddlers. If you struggle with teaching social skills, I have a resource in my TPT store, and it is a complete guide, a teaching guide resource bundle of all of my best tips and tricks for teaching social skills. So I will link that in the description. Alternatively, I also have written a book all about making a friend. It's called Devin Makes a Friend, and I'll link that. That is available on Amazon. So if you love books that were strategically meant to help you teach social skills, this is another one, of course, I'm going to recommend for you to check out. So hop on down to the description and check out that free resource, or not free, that teaching guide. It's not free, but it is well worth its money in my TPT store. So it'll help you teach things like how to have a conversation, how to make friends, nonverbal communication. All of those are included in how I would teach those in that bundle. Okay, I'm gonna let you go now. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I hope you learned some new tips and activities to help you teach emotions to preschoolers.